Hi guys, it's John from Bright Wargaming and welcome to the next video looking at how I've painted up my Dickensian gang for Twisted, a Steampunk Skirmish game. So today we're looking at how I've painted up my Bill Psyches. So throughout all of these videos I've found using the concept imagery provided by Demented Games really useful to help me understand firstly what aspects are on the model, but secondly to help me plan out how I'm going to paint it. So you can see there just some of my Johnny Age 5 sketching over the top of the model, which I've used just to plan out really roughly how I'm going to attack him. In the next couple of pictures is the colours I've used just to block out the base colours, and after I did that then I just slapped on a layer of Agrax Earthshade to cover off the shadow. And next, looking at then how I've gone on to doing the highlights. This is an outline of most of the colours that I've used for the highlights. Where they've differed from this, they've come up in the videos coming up later. So with all of my highlighting, what I've done is I've started off by going back over the colours with with the original colour, just to bring back the brightness of the original colour before then going back over with the next tone up. Unfortunately I missed a step with the videoing. I thought I'd start the video on and didn't do it, so you missed the going back over the base colour with the hat. But what you can see is me just hitting it with the next shade up for the highlight there. Moving on to some of the golds, just again going back over with the original colours. And you can see here that I'm only really hitting those sort of upwards facing elements and trying to avoid getting into any of the shadow which I created using the wash. So yeah, this is just about brightening those tones up a little bit in preparation for then hitting the edges of them with the next shade up of gold. So now that we've covered off the original gold, we're now getting into brightening them up and starting to get a bit of a shine with the next shade up. And this is used pretty sparingly, just on the bits where I want to draw the eye. So it's just on a little bit of edging and sort of large upwards facing flat surfaces. Right, next moving on to the blues. Again, this is with the original ultramarine blue, just hitting off most of the flatter and upwards facing areas, and then also looking to pick out the major folds in the back of his jacket. And again, the aim here is to really sort of brighten up to that original tone, but leaving the shadow where you want it to stay, which you've generated using that wash. Next up is using magic blue to now take those upwards facing parts of the jacket and really try and make them pop. I'm going for a really sort of contrasty effect on this, that almost getting a sort of a comic book style. You'll notice when this paint goes on, it looks really bright, but you'll see from the photos at the end that it does dry slightly less bright than it goes on initially, which is a bit of a relief in all honesty, because when I first started I was a little bit concerned that it was too bright. Okay, next up is his boiler on the back. Just going to bring up the original brassy brass, which does go a little bit sort of muddy brown with the wash on it, but once I'd done that, then it starts to get that more metallic effect. So just a little bit of silver here, just to try and make the white and metallics pop a little bit better. And this is again used fairly sparingly on those sort of upwards facing and protruding parts of the model where it would in theory catch the light. So next up, we're just going to try and brighten up his face a little bit with a bit of bone white. I'll come back to this later with a skin tone wash to give it that more natural colour. So what I'm doing here is just hitting the brassy brass with a bit more of a coppery colour, which I think gives it more sort of an antique-y shining effect, which I'm a big fan of. So you can see here I'm just coming back to the face with this skin tone wash. This is my cheat for doing faces. I've only put one coat on there, but I do end up giving it 2 coats. So now we're on to the last stage where I'm highlighting the leather. Again, just going really sparingly because these are sort of secondary colours and more just to sort of set it off. And I'm just sort of hitting the edges with this sort of lighter brown just to try and set them off and just make them stand out a little bit. You can see just starting off with the straps, just picking up those raised edges before hitting up the holster, just where the light would catch it. And I'm really quite a big fan of how the leathers have ended up. So here's a couple of final pictures of Bill all done. Again, I'm sort of super pleased with how this guy's come out, and I think he's really going to set off the rest of my gang. What I've loved about this throughout is just being able to sort of go nuts with the colours and be really creative, because there's no reason for all the gang to be in the same colour, and it's given me a really good chance to try out all sorts of different colours and techniques. So that's about it for the video. Thanks a lot for watching. As with all of these things, they're a bit of a work in progress, so please feel free to come back to me with any comments that you might have on how I can make them better. Anyway, in the meantime, do keep painting, enjoy yourselves, and stay safe. Alright, take care guys, bye bye.